Good afternoon. So yeah, I'm Asanka Abeysinghe, CTO at WSO2. So WSO2, we are a technology company providing API management, integration, identity and access management, as well as an internal developer platform. But today, I'm not here to speak about WSO2. If you are interested, here's the URL. You can find more information about the company. So I live in California, Folsom, California, east of San Francisco. So came all the way down to speak to you guys. And this is the first time in this edition of Nordic APIs. I spoke a couple of times in Austin. And it's really hard to find really good tech events these days. So a big shout to Bill and the team for putting this together because I find the quality of the event, because most of the events are about more about vendor sales pitches, but the quality of this event is great, very educational. So my plan is to spend next 20 minutes on basic stuff, why, what, how, and some contribution to the concept, because I'm introducing a new concept here. So that's the agenda. In general, tech speakers are boring and they take long. So now you know how this has structured. So that way, even if you feel it's not interesting, you know exactly how long you had to wait. So I'll start with some fundamental stuff about abstractions. So abstractions are everywhere. So that's why I pick it as it's like the morning coffee. And in real world, we see a lot of abstractions as well. So the first example is maps. If you want to go and find a coffee shop, or if you want to go and find a restaurant, what you do, you pull a map and then you navigate based on how it instructs you. So that way, you are not going through the complexity of asking people and then finding landmarks. It's really easy to navigate from destination A to destination B. So that's one example of abstractions. The second example is more kind of a Gen X thing. How many of you have heard, listen to music through a transistor radio? Okay, that's good. Because I spoke at an event recently, and then it's only few. Most of them were Gen Z, so they didn't know about a transistor radio. And if you look at a transistor radio, there are 3 knobs. One to tune it, one to select the channel, and then third one to increase the volume or decrease the volume. But if you turn the transistor radio, then you will see a complex circuit board, right, with different type of equipments. But the interface in the front is hiding the complexity. That's kind of a really good example for abstraction. So those are real world examples for abstractions, and we find many abstraction in the software world as well. When it comes to abstraction, there are 2 fundamental things. First thing is about encapsulation, and it's more relevant for this event as well, because what APIs are doing, again, providing these capabilities from a complex system, and we call them as operations. And once you hide this complexity, call it as encapsulation. So that's the first example. And then the second fundamental principle about abstractions, about partitioning. You divide a complex problem into small chunks and then treat it in a way. It's about the modularity and then partitioning. So those are the 2 fundamental things when it comes to abstractions. And there are a lot of examples, but I picked 3 examples for abstractions. First one is about ADTs. So Barbara introduced ADTs, and if she didn't introduce it, then we will not do proper programming, because about the data structures as well as operations, everything came the abstraction she created through ADT. Then the second example about relational databases, Edgar Cod introduced it, and then identify a way how we store data, how we retrieve data, and how we manage data. And as a result, then things like SQL came into the picture, and it's a really good abstraction as well. And in the current era, I think the best example for abstraction is Kubernetes, because it's creating a really good abstraction to manage containers. And for me, Kubernetes is just like a control tower in a busy airport, that how we manage the resources, how we allocate different type of workloads, and then managing a complex system. So those are few examples. But today, the platform is the essential abstraction that we find, because the complexity that we see inside the system. So I picked this intentionally to show the complexity that we are dealing with. So these are like from CNCF, if you go and look at like the number of options that you have, and then even if you go to AWS Marketplace, you will see the same thing. So we are dealing with a lot of complexity. That's where the deployment abstractions are coming. And then we have the middleware abstraction, business abstraction, domain abstractions, like that, different type of abstraction that we have to deal with. So the best way to hide all this complexity is a platform. That's why everybody is focusing on building a platform these days, and it has become a necessity for any organization to focus on building a platform. So there are many definitions, but this is the best definition that I found about a platform. It's a supporting structure that increases the effectiveness of a community. So you can relate it to different type of examples in real world as well. But even inside an organization, that's what we are doing. We connect the developers, we connect the architects, we connect the engineering managers, everybody working on that abstraction layer and then working together. So that's what a platform is doing, and then providing these advantages for the technical people as well as business people inside an enterprise. But it's not easy. So this is from one of the examples and one of the platforms that I got involved helping an organization to build. It took 4 years with a 100-person team, and they allocated around 60% of the total digital transformation budget. So it's a big investment for an organization, and not every organization can afford it as well. And the problem is this time. Now, with the changes happening in the technical world, 4 years is a long time, right? The things can change. There can be new standards coming. And if you build something and then release it to use in production, after 4 years, it might be not relevant and then redundant as well. So that's a main problem that we see on building platforms, and these organizations are facing. And I'm part of this CTO club in the San Francisco Bay Area, and the main topic is this: how we can deal with this complexity and how we can afford time and money to build platforms. And there's another problem with this. There's a distraction for the people who's consuming the platform. There are two sets of people, right? Consumers of the platform, producers of the platform. Producers, no excuse, it's their job to build a platform, that's fine. But unfortunately, the consumers of the platform, they have become part of the platform team as well and helping to build a platform. Why? Just having DevOps and SRE knowledge is not enough to build a platform. You need some application knowledge as well. So application development teams are supporting the platform engineering teams to build platforms in this organization. And that's an issue that these CIOs, CTOs, and whoever who's responsible to deliver digital experiences for the end users are facing. The focus is on the platform, not on the things that you should build on top of the platform. So that's a main issue. And that's why I put like the current focus is on the platform, but really it has to be on the application side. So this is the issue that we have seen inside these enterprises. So let's take a metaphor as well. Now, in the universe, the earth holds by dark matter and dark energy, right? But you can't see it, but you consume it. So similarly, I think that's what we think that should happen inside the enterprise as well. There should be a platform, but it shouldn't be visible for the consumers of the platform, and it shouldn't be a problem for them. So that's where we think this concept of platformless is really important, that it has to disappear from the consumers, and they should just use it without worrying about the underneath complexities, as well as worrying about building the platform, and hand over it to the platform engineering teams, and they should get the experience out of the platform. So that's where the concept platformless is coming. So in tech world, less means not like it's there, right? It's about like a kind of a shift from something, and it's basically shifting from something to something else. Now, if you take even wireless, that doesn't mean there are no wires, right? There are wires somewhere connected to, but as the consumer, you will not see the wires. And then the other example, like clientless, data centerless, everything, there's a data center, even in the data centerless example. Even serverless, there are servers, right? But then again, as the consumer, you will not feel it. The same thing that we are explaining here as well, there's a platform, but it has to be invisible for the consumer. So that's where the concept platformless come in and playing a role. So what is this? Basically, it's about experience. Okay? The experience delivered by platform engineering and consumed by the digital experience builders is what we are trying to achieve here. And then I spoke about the focus. Currently, the focus is with the platform, so it will create a shift of the focus, that they will focus on the things that they build on top of the platform, not about the platform. And then the advantage of it, basically, it reduces the cognitive load of the developers, and developers can focus on building applications rather than building platforms. So those are the fundamental things about platformless. And then, what is a platform again? We need to take a look, because there are many definitions. And inside an enterprise, this term called internal developer platform has come into the picture. And that's what most of the platform engineering teams are building. So looking at what is an internal developer platform is really important, because that's what the platform engineering is producing. And then the people like application architects, they will come and consume the platform and build a business platform on top of that, and as a result, you deliver digital experiences to the end users. It can be through a web app, it can be through a mobile app, or it can be through some kind of an experience like a connected device or something like that, that touching the end user and delivering these experiences. So those are the things. And then if you look at an enterprise, the technology platform doesn't provide much value because it's common, right? If everybody is using Kubernetes, if everybody is using service meshes, if everybody writing microservices, that doesn't give a competitive advantage for the organization. The competitive advantage coming from the business platform that they are building on top of that technology platform. So that's where the focus should be. So if we dig in deep into the internal developer platform, we see two layers in the internal developer platform. So there's a layer called the software delivery and operations that cover the CI/CD and then operational related things, as well as whatever you require to run and manage those workloads inside different type of environments. So that is the bottom layer. Most of the internal developer platforms are currently focusing on that. How you build these pipelines, how you can take a workload and then take it from different environments and then manage it inside those environments is where the focus. But what we think, there should be something more than that need to include inside the internal developer platform. That's where the enterprise software engineering practices are coming. So if you guys can remember, there was this concept called shadow IT. I think even Bill mentioned it during his keynote. Like you started building these platforms that people are going and building stuff outside the platform where the shadow IT came. The same thing happening inside organizations as well. you build a platform, but developers are not happy with that, so they are going outside the platform and building stuff outside that the standard platform. So to avoid that, you need to bring these enterprise software engineering capabilities into the platform as well. So I listed down the capabilities. These are the stuff that mainly people currently focusing on building a platform, but you need a whole lot of application-related capabilities inside the platform: API-first development, domain-driven design, microservices, so on and so forth. And then even AI-augmented software engineering is a practice that you can increase the productivity. All these things should include in the platform to have a complete platform and a very developer-friendly platform that developers can be productive by consuming the platform. So the same thing in a graphical way. You can see people start building stuff using domain-driven design. I took domain-driven design as one example, but it can be any kind of a bounded context. And then at the runtime also, you will see these different type of partitioning, and they deploy into these partitions and running. So that is how an internal developer platform will look like inside a production environment. So the advantages, so I explained about the reducing the cognitive load of the developer. So that's the first thing. And then their productivity will get increased because they consume all these capabilities through the platform. And then you can quickly respond to the market. And then the best practices can be enabled inside the platform since you are bringing the software engineering practices there. And the complexity management can be handled as well because all the complexity is hidden inside the platform. And then you can have these team operations because you are following things like domain-driven design, so you can assign these two pizza teams properly into different domains. And then you can focus on the value creation. So those are the advantages that you are getting when you become platformless. And some contribution to this concept, the first thing we did, we wrote a manifesto. So that's available in this particular Git repo. And then I wrote something about the internal developer platform as well, because the current definition is only looking at that operational layer. So since we thought that the software engineering capability should be there, so we have redefined that in that particular paper. As well as I spoke about domain-driven design and how it looks like in the runtime environment. To implement that, there's a concept called cell-based architecture that I authored in 2018. Now used by many organizations. All these three specifications released under Creative Commons, so feel free to send a PR. You can criticize or contribute to the specification. And last but not least, as a technology company, we build an internal developer platform as a service called Choreo that providing platformless experience through that platform as well. And if you would like to try it out, you can use the URL and sign up and try that. So these are my contact details. Like if you would like to have a chat, yes, I'm around today and tomorrow. But if you want to continue anything, you can use these contact details and then contact me. And so that's the last time. And I believe it's high time to go platformless. Thank you very much.